record a YouTube video real quick. Alright, so coming into day 2 of Project Diablo 2 Transcendent Season Start, we have found ourselves, or blundered ourselves, into a Buriza Bowazon. We happened to pick up a Buriza and a Cat's Eye really early into this ladder. I think this was off of Nightmare Bale, and we picked this up somewhere in Hell. In addition to that, we were able to pick up Fast Run Walk with minimum damage and all res. I've now made 2 Lion's Hearts out of the runes that we've found. Crafting 20 IAS gloves with knockback and minus to enemy defense has been really strong. Really big stats on a ring, plus dex and attack rating is really big. Dual leech on a battle belt, Wilhelm's Pride. And then big stats again on another rare ring. In addition to that, we do have Cannot Be Frozen on Rites of Passage. Our charms are fairly decent at this point. A lot of res, a lot of life, a lot of max damage. We have 1 skiller with additional dex and AR and run walk as far as the rest of our charms go. For our skill point distribution, max evade, max dodge are really our only survivability. We have max crit, we're putting our dump points into penetrate, a couple points into Valkyrie to have another tank to be able to sit behind. And then we have max multi-shot, and then 1 point into cold arrow just to be able to break physical immunes, and 1 point into magic arrow in case they're physical immune and cold immune. Plus it's a starter point, right? We actually need to put this in as a prereq. 1 point into guided arrow is also really good, so we can focus this at bosses that need a little bit more attention than multi-shot will give them typically. We started off as a Bowazon. Oh, and I'm sorry, last point. Enough strength to be able to use our gear, and we also have Demon Limb on the offhand so that we can enchant ourselves for AR and a little bit of fire damage, and then literally every other point into dexterity. We have 400 hit points. With a mercenary giving us Might Aura, the mercenary is using a crafted Martel del Fer, PDR, life, some really decent stats here, 20 IAS with dual res and some attack rating and strength, and then some random blood crafted boots, just so that we have something in that slot for now. Honestly, we have been farming hell cows now. Our damage with our Merc is somewhere around 1700 to 4700 on Multishot, and then guided arrow is 1700 to 4700. We started off the ladder as a Power Strike Amazon. This is what we pushed with our 8-person team. And after downing Hellbale, I think we completed it at 4 hours and 26 minutes, just 10 minutes ahead of the next closest group. That was Chronic's group, so super GG and shoutouts to them. They've been training like really, really hard to get that time down, and their clear time was super impressive. Considering we've literally done the run now for years, I think they started up in the last couple of months. Honestly, way too impressive. You should go check those guys out. But starting off as a Bowazon, I kind of just transitioned into Buriza because it dropped and it was an option for us. Now that I've done it and I've committed to being a Bowazon, farming hell cows really consistently and really easily at this point has been our motif. So I think I've now put something like 5 to 8 hours into hell cows. I would say if people are looking to start off as a Bowazon, the biggest gear requirement is having a good bow. So having a good bow means being able to generate one if one does not drop for you. And that's where moving into the crafting selection for Season 2 becomes so important. A safety bow can roll 70 to 140 ED, 10 to 20 IAS. And if you're doing this on an Amazon specific bow, that also means that you can have your +3 to bow and crossbow skills, or you could do it on a regular base to get a bit more damage and a better attack rate, but that does mean that getting plus to skills is a little bit tougher. Luckily, on a Bowazon, plus to skills really isn't the make or break. It really comes down to ED, flat damage, and dex. And then as far as survivability, we have 400 hit points. As long as you don't get hit, you don't die. This is a super glass cannon build. But this is after a day and a half of farming, and even that has been really buggy just with how the servers have been dealing with. So I'd say this is more like 75% of a day worth of farming. So if you're able to craft yourself a bow, and remember here in Season 2, perfect gems now drop and flawless gems start dropping in Act 4 normal. We are absolutely inundated with gems. I've been able to craft something like 10 to 12 pieces that were all really high value and relevant for a different build in our team. And if I was just keeping all the gems for myself and only crafting for myself, I'd probably have crafted something close to like 15 bows at this point. So it's really easy to get your hands on these materials and work your way into this build. I would say that you at least want to be working with the exceptional base of a Hydra bow, or looking at any of the Amazon specific bows. So if you're finding a magic base, pick that up. Now, obviously, we're talking about multi-shot in a physical build. There are a ton of great rune words that you could look into making. There are a lot of great options for unique bows where you could be going more for like an ice build, right? Or a fire build if you pick up something like Kuko Shikaku. But we're looking at a physical damage build because Hell Cows, quite frankly, do not have any relevant damage modifiers or relevant resistances where you can't just go in and crush through them on physical. And getting a lot of charms, a lot of crafting materials, a lot of jewelry, and maps right now is going to be really, really high value. And I think all in all, Bowazon is something that is available even just from some basic rune word or basic crafting that you can do. I've really enjoyed it. I do like the fact that we also now have a tier 2 map that has cows in it. So as my power scale increases, I'm able to transition into mapping on this build as well. We haven't given it a shot just yet because I'm still looking to collect enough relevant charms to get my max attack damage up high enough where it's going to be more relevant and more able to clear, because if I don't kill something before it gets to me, I will die. That's how a glass cannon build works. But if you are looking to get into the Bowazon and you're looking to get into it early, I still recommend starting off with the Javazon until you have a good weapon base, but then hard transitioning into it. Use one of your respecs, and I think it's really going to pay off for you. I'm expecting to be able to take this build and basically run with it for the entire next week, get all of my farming done, get all of my skillers done, get all of my high runes. We've already gone pull, a bunch of lems, which got rolled back, and then a bunch of more mid runes. So that means we're going to be able to use those for trading currency to kind of shore up the differences, since not a lot of people have high runes really to work with right now. And then also build a lot of those rune words like Lionheart that can get you 120 ED plus 30 stats and plus 30 all res. It really, really strong things are available right now for really low rune word requirements. After this week, I'll probably look into drastically increasing the power scale of this. So buying into a lot of Burizas, slamming them, looking for really GG slams, and then transitioning through Dole runes for enhanced damage, and then eventually up into those 40 IAS ED, attack speed jewels that are ultimately going to be the make or break of the build itself. And as far as different items that you could be working with right now, since you can craft 20 IAS on gloves, you can get a really good dual leech belt pretty easily, or slam onto a leech belt and hopefully get another one. And looking at even basic Mavina's set, there are a lot of options right now where you can continue to piecemeal together your gear until you are at a power scale where you can safely do things like Hell Cows or the Map Cows. If anybody is currently trying out the Bowazon or is finding it either difficult or really easy, feel free to comment below. I'd really like to figure out what other people's experiences is like right now. I'm literally too busy blasting to just be able to hang out in Discord or to chat with people individually. So if we could just like aggregate everybody's experience down below, I'd really appreciate that. And hopefully, if you're able to build into this, you're going to see the success that we're seeing this early into the launch of season 2. Thank you, and good luck with the rest of the season.